Mr. Wright.
How you doing? You alright?
Always on time. I love that.
You know, you've got to be, mate. If you commit to something, you've got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. I've been buzzing for this and having a chat with you. Look, I've even done my hair and put a Barcelona shirt up in the background to go with the red one. I've made an effort tonight, mate. Right,
I've done my hair as well, mate.
That's it. I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate it. So, thank you for coming on, first of all. Really appreciate you giving up your time to talk to us this evening. Really been looking forward to speaking to you and hearing your story. Do you just want to tell the people who you are, introduce yourself?
Yeah, no problem, mate. It's a pleasure to come on and help you. Oh, exactly.
I'm in a nightmare, isn't I? Props.
I'll leave you to that, mate. But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure to jump on, mate. What you're trying to do and get off the ground is great. And it just seems to be more and more people trying to help other people, and that's exactly what I love. So, yeah, my name's Sam Wright. I'm currently the CEO at Cray Wanderers Football Club, and that role, you know, it sounds all big and glamorous, I suppose, CEO of a football club, but there's a lot of facets to it. You know, I'm the chairman of the youth section, and I'm very much involved with a project down at Flamingo Park where we're trying to build a new stadium as well. So a lot of my work is about engagement in the local area, getting Cray Wanderers back where we came from, and just really re-embedding ourselves into that local community, because we've been Bromley ground sharing for 24 years now.
Wow.
And we've kind of lost our identity a little bit, you know, and there's so much traction that we want to gain around London's oldest football club. You know, it's a huge thing.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, got plenty going on at Cray Wanderers.
God, that's a lovely. I mean, that the club as it is. I didn't realise you were at Bromley for that long. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
We've lost our identity really, because we're just a club that ground shares in Bromley. So we're kind of lost. Yeah, definitely. We think the fan base would really, really improve once we can get back in the local area.
Where was you before that, Sam? Where was Cray based?
So back when I was playing, we was in Oxford Road in Sidcup. It's Sidcup. It's behind the Conservative Club in Sidcup.
I see.
It's a strange story, Cray Wanderers, because the Wanderers is exactly what we've been. We've never had our home ground of our own. We've always used someone else's ground. So even the grounds we've been in previously were all someone else's, and we just played there. It's a huge thing to be. It's this year's our 160th year as a football club, and we're going to start building a new stadium, which will be our first ever home ground. So yeah, I think it's been a long history, but there's a lot more to come from the football club.
That is unbelievable, mate. I mean, just before we got on, I'm honest as they come, me, and I've got a WhatsApp just before you come on, and one of the boys has sent me like crazy oldest club in London, and you know they're building the new ground. I was like, yes, brilliant, thanks for that, mate. I mean, it's unbelievable. Is it this year then you're going to start the actual building work for the ground?
We're very hopeful that we'll start the building February, March. It's been frustrating. A lot of people are getting frustrated. A lot of our fans, I think some of the players, the management, you know, that it's not happening, because we got all excited 2 years ago and we've got planning permission. But planning permission is like the start point. You've then got a lot of conditions like that you need to tick boxes. And some of them conditions are really obscure around whether our floodlights might impact on the local bat population. You know, it might be to do with what the discharge of our waste, whether that'll affect the local area. You know, it's real minute stuff, and we've just got a little bit snagged up on some of it. And I think the COVID issue has slowed things down. So sometimes the stuff that should be going in front of committees is not. So yeah, it's been a frustrating time, but you know, we're still confident. The directors are all guns blazing at getting the stadium built, and we're still hopeful that we'll start the 22-23 season in the new stadium.
That'd be unbelievable, mate. And you're definitely we will definitely be attending. I've told you before, me and my boy, we often go to Bromley. It's our local ground, you know, and we'll definitely be coming down to be watching Cray at the new ground hopefully soon.
Yeah, great. And it's been I've had a long association with it. I think I came across the 89-90 season. I was a young man at Fisher. I was 17, 18, just turned 18. And I was playing a reserve football down at Fisher. It was a big club at the time. They was in the conference then. And Eddie Davis got a job at Cray, and he took a load of us youngsters with him. And I started playing for Cray, like say, late 80s, early 90s. And then I had a career through the 90s with them. And then managed the reserves for a little while in the early 2000s. We had a really successful few years, brought some great young players through. And then I kind of drifted away. I'd done my cruciate. And I don't know why. I'd always kept in touch with the club, but I just drifted away for a few years. Played a bit of vets football, and I sorted my knee out, and then got the chance to go back in. As chairman's always been on my case. My job was I was in one job for 30 years, running leisure centres, and he always said to me, when we set this new ground up, I want you to come this acumen into this football club and get us set up as a business, you know, because that's all I do. I don't mix myself up with the football. That's Tony's job. He's a brilliant manager, plays great football. You know, my job is the business of the football club, not the playing. So yeah, I think you had a little freeze up there, mate. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if it's my internet or yours. I'll use freezing up a bit. Yeah, I got you.
One off, I'll turn one on. It should be okay. Hopefully, it's the first time he's playing up in the interview that I was most looking forward to. There you go.
That's it. We're back. We're back.
We're back, mate. Yeah. So yeah, that's that was something that I wanted to talk to you about, your own football sort of journey, and you've sort of covered that with the Cray. Do you remember any particular fantastic times you had in your playing career with Cray or whoever else you played for?
Yeah, I get a bit of stick because I always bring it up. We hadn't won an awful lot. We was a side that we had a lot of heart, but we struggled a little bit. And a 92-93 season, we got to the final of the Kent Senior Trophy. It was down at Gillingham's ground at Priestfield, and we were massive underdogs against Whitstable. And I popped up with 12 minutes to go, nutted one in, and 1-0 win for the Wands. Headlines were the right. So yeah, that was my plan.
Did you keep that?
I'll still go on about it. I'll still go on about it. I played in a Vets game yesterday, charity game, and I scored a similar goal yesterday, and I got a bit of stick in the bar yesterday afterwards. They said, oh, no doubt you're going to bring up your header down at Gillingham. So yeah.
Well, that's your story, mate, isn't it? You got that for keeps.
Yeah, and then I had a mad one in 2010. I had another mad story in 2010 with Cray as well. We was playing in a tournament to celebrate the 150th year of Cray. They was playing against Sheffield FC up in Sheffield, and another club called Hallam, who at a similar time to Cray. They came out, and it was like a try tournament at the oldest clubs. Now I just went up there for a jolly up with the chairman. I went up with him the day before on the Friday, and the first team manager, was my good mate Jenko, rang me up and said, "Right, you're gonna have to go and goal." I was like, "What?" I said, "You're mad." I said, "I'm 40 years old." I said, "I'm not a goalie, but when I come back from the cruciate, I had a couple of seasons where I just played in goal because I was just nervous about my knee. So I've ended up playing in goal for the first team at 40. I've ended up saving a penalty in the final, and we won the tournament on penalties. So that was another moment. Like 20 odd years later, I was 17 years later. I mean, I popped up with another little moment for the club. So.
No wonder you're CEO, mate. They've stuck you up there. Club legend, CEO. Enter 12 minutes from time and popped up at 40 to save the game. Fantastic.
Yeah,
that's brilliant, mate. I mean, that's so good. I mean, we obviously as a football team ourselves going for a few years before. We had players in and out playing sort of decent standard Saturdays and stuff like that. So we're always quite always keeping an eye on our local teams, the Crays, both of the Cray Valley, because we had a couple of players there. And then, you know, we've always had a few players playing at a decent level. So that's why we mostly played Sundays, because the boys just had to do their Saturdays as well. But we took it as serious as when we played Saturdays. I played Saturdays myself, and so did my brothers. And, you know, we took it as seriously on a Sunday, you know, all round. The game, everything was the same as a Saturday, apart from you were playing at crazy parks on a Sunday and nice sports grounds on a Saturday. But we were just so focused. We didn't win much. We won a lot of games. We don't feel like we got kicked out of a cup final once, which everyone keeps blaming me for. But I'm sure it was the player's fault. It was the player's fault that he couldn't remember his ringer name when he got booked. So that's probably the funniest best story I've known in football. But if you wouldn't mind, could you talk to us a little bit about, obviously, you know, we're big on mental health. We consider ourselves 90% about the mental health and trying to change the stigmas and try and get men talking. This is what we're trying to do in football in the local area. What's your experiences, or, you know, your personal, or things that you might have been through in mental health?
That's great. You know, I'll just quickly touching on the Saturday and Sundays. You're getting a bit sticky. It was your fault, apparently, on the chat. So, and that's what I love.
That is not a reliable source.
But that's what I love about football, isn't it? Is, you know, my Saturdays were great and serious. Sundays were brilliant. You played with your mates. You had a bit of a crack. You went down a pub afterwards, and it was much more about the team spirit and the being lads in it together and all that. But
you'll like my lot.
Yeah, I'll have to come and have a kick about it with you. Mental health. I was old school. My train of thought was very old school, and that was because my dad drummed it into me. And it's great that now people are saying it is good to talk. You know, you must say what you feel. I was very much, you got to man up and get on with it. My dad's favourite saying that was, and I never felt I had mental health issues ever. I know my wife has struggled. My wife has struggled for years, really, really has, and she's doing so well. Some of the stuff she's doing now is so out of her comfort zone, and I could never understand it. I never understood it. I had a feeling. I would never say it to her. We've been together 31 years. I would never say to her, you know, you man up and all that. But I had that in my head, and I lost my dad when he was quite young. I lost him 17, 18 years ago, and it's recently. Only in the last few years, I've probably realised that I didn't grieve properly, and it was causing me mental health issues. I had so much anger in me. I was a nightmare. I was jumping out of my car at every opportunity, road raging, rearing up with people. And I look back, and it's frightening. So on reflection, I was a nightmare. I was like a time bomb of anger. And I just think eventually often it's down to some person, individual, something happens in your life that makes you flick a switch. And I was trying to do that through my job. So I was very much about trying to create leaders. I started as a lifeguard at the waterfront when it opened back in the late 80s. And I'd managed to work right through the company up to like regional manager, running all of the centres in Greenwich. And it kind of empowered me. I felt good about that, you know, local lads, done well, gone through the company, and I wanted to replicate that. And I was doing a lot of work on trying to develop people into being better leaders, better people, and that kind of started my journey of researching self-development. You know, how do you become a good leader? How do you become a good coach to people? And I was doing that journey, but I was doing it in this angry state as well. So I was a conflict. I was just this huge conflict of someone who would happily stand in front of 300 staff and motivate them and get them fired up. And then I'd drive home and try and jump out of the car and beat someone up because I was so angry, you know. And
I can imagine.
Just so bad. It's so bad, you know. And I'll only ever glance back. I glance back. I don't like to dwell on the past because you cannot let the past define you. You know, I think everyone has got. I did a little thing today where I was talking about working on yourself, and it is about working on yourself. So yeah, so I met a guy. He's one of the directors at the football club, and when about 4 years ago, he interviewed me because the chairman wanted me to go to Cray, but these other 4 guys who put all the money into the club, they didn't know me from Adam. So I went for a bit of an interview stroke meeting with them. And the guy, Dave, really resonated with me. He was very spiritual. The meeting room we was in was his. And there was something in there. And we got on really well. And after the meeting, he just pulled me aside and he said about a few bits. Have you ever tried meditation? Have you ever tried this? And the meditation has been a game changer for me. And it don't work for everybody. And if I'm honest, the first few weeks of doing it, I was there thinking, what the hell are you doing, right?
Yeah.
What is this all about? I get stick from some of my best friends. I go back a long way. We still can't quite get their head around it. But it's been so good for me. And I find that daily ritual of 10 minutes, 10 minutes of just calm, reflection, meditation, it just sets my day up so well. And it's great. And you know what? I appreciate what my wife's gone through. A lot of my wife's was postnatal with her last daughter originally, which was 18 years ago. And then she struggled with a few of the family deaths. It's not an easy thing to go through. And they impacted her quite hard as well. And like things like counselling with my dad, everyone was telling me I needed counselling, and I said no. Whereas my eldest daughter loved my dad a bit, so my wife was quite cut up by it, and they went and did it, and it benefited them. But I think them kind of things, you've got to want to do it. You've got to want to go to it. Otherwise, it won't work. It won't work. So, yeah, no, I really do feel for my wife deserves a medal to stick with me through some of them times. Yeah.
That's what it's about, though, mate. I mean, you've done. I've got a question here.
Yeah, I like that. He would have said to me, "What the fuck are you doing?" Also, what's that mumbo jumbo nonsense? He was a very much a man of the 70s. Yeah,
brilliant.
He would have very much struggled with that, I think.
But I've seen you do that all the way through. I've seen your little videos and that through lockdown about it, and I tried it myself. And the reason I laughed when you said about when you first started it, because I remember sitting in my front room on the floor in lockdown, like, what am I doing? Door locked, and I'm thinking, like, I don't think this works for me. But as you said, it's time, isn't it? It's time and getting used to it.
You've got to persevere. I didn't think it was going to work, and then suddenly something clicked. And it's not. I've tried so many different ones, and one of the ones I use the most is a YouTube called Boho Beautiful, right? And my wife probably thinks I do it because she's a lovely-looking young girl, but honestly, she's so good. And what I love is she keeps it real, and some of the stuff she talks to you about as you're starting to get into that state of meditation, it's just good common sense. It's good stuff. And listen, not everything works for everyone. Some people like a certain type of fitness. Some people like another. It is what works for you, really.
Just to give your mind that sort of rest, we were talking about yesterday with a couple of the lads, and we were saying that even at football for the 60 minutes, and it's a complete disconnect from everything outside that pitch. Do you know what I mean? And the same with sort of meditation is when you can disconnect, externally, except, when we're at football, everything outside that football pitch disappears for that hour. And it's that rest from, that rest from the rest of the world that I think a lot of the lads, including myself, really benefited from. Just, you never realised it when you were doing it so much through your youth. You're playing football 3, 4, 5 times a week, training and matches. But actually, when it's gone, you realise how good it was for you mentally.
Honestly,
it was unbelievable. A couple of my lads, I remember sitting there, and Rob with the silly comments on here saying I was like a Buddha. Thanks, Rob. Rob with the silly comments, I'm going to call him. He said to me, like, we were sitting there with a pint after the game, and he went to me, I feel like I've got mates again. And like, we laughed, but we looked around and everyone's chatting, and you know, this is post lockdown one, you know, so everyone was just like talking to each other, and they just felt good being together. This is after the football, and I think we've done an hour and a half in the bar and an hour on the pitch. It's just to be together again for a little while. It was so good for all of us, and that's what we were sort of born out of. This whole idea was just sitting there and thinking, like, we need to do more of this, and we need to get more people involved, and we can actually do something special here. And
his comment there is great. You know, he's spot on what he says there. When you step on the pitch, your burdens and worries stay outside the cage. You know, you're just focused on that, what's in front of you. Mind you, I think I'm sure yesterday, a couple of the Vets boys were meditating on the pitch.
You won't get that around our place, mate. I was saying yesterday as well, my stepson come and watch. I think he's watching tonight. He come and watch. He come down from Liverpool. He lives in Liverpool, and he come down to us to do a bit of filming. And he come and watched us. And I said, come on, come and play. And he was like, no. And the next day we were having dinner, and I said to him, why don't you come and play? And he said, mate, it's a bit full on. It didn't look like much fun. It just looked really full on, because we're just, once you're on and the competitiveness comes and that positivity comes, and the only thing that matters is the next ball, you know, that's all that mattered to us at that time. And, you know, that's where, as I say, this is born out of. The next part to our project after Christmas is going to be getting a ground somewhere where we can go, whether it be a field or park or whatever, and we're going to try and do some sort of open training, because what we've got now is messages and messages and messages of blokes saying, like, I want to be a part of that at some level, whether it's not the games in particular, and we're going to have a few guest games where we can get more people involved in the matches, but we're going to get some sort of open training going, maybe for an hour or an hour and a bit, and then have a cup of tea after for half hour, just for a bit of social inclusion for people. And we're going to try and do that on a Saturday morning. We're going to start in our area, and we're going to see how many people we can get involved in that, how many men want to reach out and say, do you know what, I want to join a community of blokes playing a bit of football, and, you know, as I say, and have a cup of tea after on the, you know, and leave. It's as simple as that.
Nice. It's powerful.
That's the next level for what we're trying to do.
When I was playing back like in the 90s, when I was playing half decent level, I felt that as soon as I got in that changing room, one, you felt the camaraderie of it all, but I changed as a person. As I'm putting my socks on, I'm putting my shorts on, I'm going into another state. You know, I'm going into warrior mode. I'm going into, I've got to get out, whoever I'm up against, I've got to be better than him. And you know, it does that for your football. It can change your personality. I remember reading something Vinnie Jones once wrote. You know, he was such a nutcase on the pitch and all that, but he said he felt himself changing as he was getting changed into a different person. And I think, you know, if you're going to excel, and some of the guys at the top end of the game, they must have to be so tuned in when they get on that football pitch, you know.
I totally agree, mate. I definitely am a lot more. I don't get angry on the pitch, but I'm a different character for sure. When I go on a football pitch, I'm a very, very different character to what I am off it. I'm a bit more leery, a bit of a wind up. You know what I mean? I'm probably all these things off the pitch, but it's 10 times more when I'm on the pitch and it's the lads around you and there's other teams there and you're niggling at them. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything away from the football pitch, it just leaves you. And as I said earlier, a lot of our lads, a lot of them are young. Like Rob with the funny comments, he's the oldest in our group. I just want to point that out. And we've got youngsters of, I think the kid who come last week was 15, one of our lads' sons, who's 15, maybe 14. So, like, there's that age span of, and we've got everywhere in between coming to our sessions. And it's so good because everyone's benefiting from young to us older lot. You know what I mean? We're all benefiting together. Even the youngsters are benefiting coming and playing football with us. You know, and it's just mentally a release for us all. And we want to try and push that out like, as I said, the next part of that project being some open training sessions and stuff like that. But I'm trying to speak to Mental Health England and the FA about some sort of, because have you seen this downloadable guide on the FA website? And it's a downloadable mental health guide.
Yeah,
it's guidelines, and I read through that the other day, and I just didn't know why that wasn't being pushed out more to grassroots football, because even that basic information, it's quite basic, but even that would help, because it was teaching you to spot, support, and signpost. If anyone come up to you with any problems, you could, you could spot them, you can support them in a very basic way, and you can signpost them where to get help. Just them things. I think that needs to be pushed out into grassroots football all over the place. Sunday teams.
Yeah, pathways have got to be opened up more. That's what they need to do. There's some really good pathways there, isn't there, at the FA guidance, but no one seems to know about it. And I think this lockdown, the first one was bad enough. The second one, even though it's only been a few weeks, it's been, I think, tough. And I think a lot of the football world have struggled with it. And I'm seeing that from youth level, like managers that just want to get their kids out. They can't understand why their kids are all at school together. They can't play football together. And it's been a bit of a tough one. Whereas before, everyone was locked down and that was it. And I think the level of football we're at, the supporters you get in non-league football, it is such a big part of their life, the non-league football. And not being able to get to a game, and talk to the guy that they always talk to when they're down at non-league, it's having a big impact on some of these boys. We had a friendly Saturday because we got a trophy game tomorrow night. So the lads, hadn't played for a month, so they needed a quick livener. And it was great to see all the local lads who come and watch us at Bromley, all there at Flamingo Park on the side of the pitch, having a chat, just reconnecting. And it's so important, that mental side of football, whether it's playing, watching, coaching, it means so much to the people.
Absolutely, mate. Before I let you go, I just wanted for you to let us know about, obviously, the journey that I'm most interested in, and I've been following you a long time. Your amazing weight loss and your complete transformation has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. Could you just tell us what you... is that the actual picture?
That's the actual pictures there. I thought, because it's hard to convey it on it. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, people who might not have seen it, but I've had quite a remarkable change around in me, not just mentally, but when you see that photo, mind you, I do look really happy, don't I? With me. Chubby
people are happy though, aren't we? That's why I'm jolly. We're jolly when we're big.
But it's been a mad one. It was a year and, it's nearly 2 years ago, January 2019, when I started using Herbalife products, and I was the biggest skeptic going, and you'll hear that a lot. People say I was the biggest skeptic. I was. My wife had a massive transformation. She'd lost 2 dress sizes in 2 months leading up to Christmas. So in October, November, she was doing it, and she'd gone down to size 8, which when we met, she was a size 8, 30 odd years. And she looked so good. She felt so good. You could see the change in her mentality. She was vibrant. And I'm still denying it. I'm still saying I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need that.
And one of the guys who got my wife involved was her manager at the leisure centre. She worked in the Greenwich Centre. She was library, and there's a leisure centre there. And he was a good friend of mine, Chris, and he was one of my managers underneath me. And the two of them used to drive me mad about stuff. To the point where I used to ring up. If I had a meeting at that centre, I would ring them before I got there saying, I've got a meeting here today. Do not talk to me about this Herbalife stuff, all right? I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. And then ultimately I got started. It was January. I always like a detox in January anyway. I do like to try and do a month of no boozing, get myself back. Everyone has that January feeling, new year and all that. And I just went for it. I just totally went for it, immersed myself in it. I couldn't believe how good the products taste. That was the first thing, because I was adamant I wouldn't like it. Hi, Teresa. I was adamant I wouldn't like it. And it was unbelievable. It tasted so good, which was a first plus. Within 2 or 3 days, I felt this mad lift in energy. It was just like, it's hard to explain. It really is until you've actually started.
Until you've done it.
done it, and I'm now, I think I put people off of Herbalife sometimes because I train so much. You know, I'm 51. I'm as fit as I was in my 20s, if not fitter, and I'm training 5-6 times a week. And it's because I've got so much energy to burn. It becomes a byproduct of creating that healthy lifestyle, really. And it all kind of happened at once. I started the Herbalife journey. I lost 1 stone and 10 pounds in a month. I did a 30-day challenge, and it was just mad. And I actually won £1,000. There was a regional challenge down, and I'm so competitive. Once I started, I threw myself at it. I went full blown, did everything I was told to do, did loads of training, and I got a benefit. But I'm now nearly 2 years down the line, and it's just a big part of my life now. I have a shake every single morning, even on Christmas Day, and it just sets you up. And the plan is so simple, and we're helping so many people now, myself and my wife. I think we've got 170 odd members now sitting underneath us, and most of them people, you know, most of them people, Emma Jane's put on there, I think I need some of that. Emma Jane just had me up. I can help you start.
The thing. And it's real. It's absolutely real.
Yeah. And you know, we love helping people. And it's another thing we've learned as well in this process of self-development is about understanding people's colour characteristics. And my wife is so yellow, and yellow people love helping people. And when you actually have that impact on someone's life, you change their health drastically. It's such a good feeling. It really is. And I'll do the flip of it as well. I love helping people get their health back, but I'm really into trying to help people mentally as well now. You know, and I do my daily videos. Hey, Rob's killed you again. It worked wonders for you, Reb.
That's inconsistency, Rob. That's inconsistency. That's what that is.
But yeah, I do my daily. I don't do daily videos. I'll do some videos when I feel that I've got something of value to add. And I've reconnected with 3 or 4 people through the lockdown who I've known for years, but have reached back out to me and said, "Look, I've seen what you're doing. I can see the change here. You know, can you help me?" And I've loved it. I've loved actually being able to help people and try and guide them into a better health and a better kind of mental state. And it's been as much as it's been probably the worst year we've ever had out there. It is been incredibly rewarding as well to work through the processes of lockdown and the challenges we've had.
This is why we call him Rob with the funny comments. I mean, you don't want to see the WhatsApp group. He's probably a couple of bottles in. Bless him.
Teresa, who's on there, I've just seen Teresa make some comments. She's had an amazing change around. Teresa has. She's done so well. And you know, her story is brilliant. And you just meet so many great people on your journey. And ultimately, it's also a business. You know, I left 30 years of stable employment at the end of March in 2019. So I was 3 months into my Herbalife journey at that time. Starting to feel much better in myself, fitter, healthier. And then I went into self-employment, the world of self-employment, after 30 years of being employed and safe, you know, getting my money each month, to this running my own business. And 11 months later, COVID comes along. I'm 11 months into my journey. It was going well. I was doing well. Had a great start to my business, but suddenly my business is closed because football stops. I've got no proof of any tax records to show. I've got nothing. I think I was offered £69 a week to help me get through. And do you know what? It made me put my energy even more into Herbalife, and because it is a business opportunity as well. Not only are you helping people, but you can get compensated for that. And it saved my financial freedom through that period, because we was able to start helping so many people, put that energy into it. It's just been that's what's been remarkable, really. So
I remember obviously coming to you, speak, like I watched you through lockdown. Every day you're doing little snippets, and that's inspired me to do little snippets now on our site, which is mainly from seeing your little bits and your journey from starting them. You know, new at doing them, and then as you go through, seeing you grow in confidence. And the thing I took from that is, as you just mentioned, I only say things when I've got something to say, rather than sitting there in the morning thinking, oh, how can I inspire the world today? I'd rather, if I've got something in me, I might have gone through it yesterday, I might have dreamt through it in my sleep. If I've got something to get out there, I will. And if not, I'll have a day off, because I think your passion comes across, doesn't it? Your conviction comes across. And if you're just spouting rubbish, nonsense that you ain't even looked at yourself, then, that really comes across too, doesn't it? So I've gone with that myself. And obviously, when I was at Herbalife, Rob takes a mickey out of me for it. He shakes and potions to Rob. And non-alcoholic, which is terrible for him. Alcohol, it don't exist. But I loved being. It wasn't just about the products and what he did for me at the time, but the community is just unbelievable. The community around it. I mean, I come to boot camp with you guys, and I absolutely loved it. And just my inconsistency with my nutrition and my life, up and down, I haven't been able to really grasp down on some consistency and get things done regularly. I'm so inconsistent lately. But I really enjoyed coming to boot camp, and I really enjoyed, even if it was like taking a shake in the morning, that sorted me right out, because I think I got my best results when I used to get up and have that in the morning. And then I used to have the tea through the day. And I got my best results because I was able to stay consistent. I just did that. And I was so consistent, and I lost weight. I felt great. But again, I felt like I'm a king of falling off the wagon, mate. And then, start again Monday. That's me. And I've got to change my mindset with it, because, as well as I do, without any consistency, you're not going to get them long-term results. And
the key
very aware of it.
Yeah, the key to any big change in any part of your life is consistency, and it's consistent, massive action. You can't just do it for one day hard and then 2 days off. It's daily rituals. It has to become something that you do in your life, day in, day out. And that's what we try and say to people. Now, people are going to fall off of the wagon. People are going to have a birthday. They're going to have a big celebration. They're going to have an holiday. Now, we all know that Christmas is a time to relax with your family and overindulge. We would never say to someone, you can't do that. But it's just about trying to make sure that you don't let that can easily become the way you live every day of your life. Lockdown was the prime example of lockdown. People did one of two things. People who had never run before, I was seeing people in the park. I was worried they was going to have heart attack, because they just decided in lockdown they're going to go and run. They're going to do this. They're going to cycle. And people either got mega fit and zoned in, and then the other half of people, and quite a few of the people that have reached out to us and we ended up helping, I think they saw that first lockdown as an all-inclusive holiday. It was like every day, sitting indoors, getting paid if you were furloughed. The weather was great, drinking, eating, and suddenly 6-8 weeks later, people were like, hold on a minute, I can't do my jeans up.
God, I'm 2 stone here. It's ridiculous. It was. We done some challenges. Me and my daughter, we had it in our heads that we were going to get up every morning, and we done a couple of 21-day challenges. And all we done was get up in the morning, and we done this 20-minute HIIT workout. But we used that to start the day. And what we would do is, a few of the lads, like my cousin on here, he joined me, and we done it on Zoom. So I'd get the tripod set up in the garden. I think we were doing it at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And we'd get the tripod set up, and there would always be 2 or 3 people to join us on Zoom. And we didn't make it public. I didn't go on Facebook or anything. I just done it with, whoever wanted to train with us. And we done that, and we done it quite a lot. And that really helped me. I didn't go mental during that time with food or anything else. I didn't put on silly amount of weights or anything like that. We literally just done the training that set us up for the day. But the days we didn't do it, when we come to the end of the challenge, we had a couple of days off. The days we didn't, I fell off massively. Like, if I didn't start the day, I would lose that day. Like, it'd be an inconsistent, horrible day for me.
Daily rituals, mate. That's what it is. Honestly, it really. Really is.
Well,
I think with that, with going back to the video side of things, where it was weird how it all started. I remember the first one I ever did was on Mother's Day. I just felt so peed off that I always had my mum. I used to have my nana, but I'd have them up on Mother's Day, and I'd make them dinner, I'd make a fuss. And the fact that I made her dinner still, but I had to take it wrapped in foil, knock on her door, leave it in the porch because she's 77, and then talk to her through the door. And it was just so, it really got to me. And I kind of did a bit of it wasn't a rant, but it was me talking through what I was having to do and how hard it was. And I got so much good feedback from it, from some of the stuff that I said. I thought, you know what, I'll have another go. And then as each day went on, I was getting more and more people saying, you know, really resonated with me what you said there. That's really given me a good idea. And I thought, well, if this is helping people, I'll just keep cracking on. So I did it quite consistently through that first lockdown. But as you said, and as I said, you know, what you don't want to do is just feel like you've got to go on there. Like my oldest daughter gives me a bit of stick. She says, oh, you just love the sound of your own voice. And we have a bit of banter about it. And I won't go on unless I genuinely feel that I'm going to give a topic out that is going to maybe resonate with somebody, help them to make a positive change, or help them out of a rut, or you know, a bit of a hole that they're in. So the most stick I get are my closest friends who I've known the longest time.
Well, you see, I'm getting that and all.
Yeah.
It's my closest mates that give me the most stick. But no, you're right. When you are talking, you feel like, for me, I'm a few weeks in, and if I can't put any sort of value to people out there, I try and put nothing, because I just don't. I want to really come across genuine about what I'm saying. And as I said, I'm not always just advising people. It's always based on an experience I've gone through lately. It might be something that I've gone through, as I said, yesterday, and something could have happened, a little situation, and then next day I'll reflect upon it. So it's more like a reflection of my own experiences, rather than me trying to school the world on, you know, it's not me trying to tell everyone what to do that I don't do myself. It's more like a reflection of my experiences put into some sort of lesson that I've learned or something I've realised, and I'm putting it out there, whether that's 3 minutes or 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Yeah. You know, and the genuine, coming across genuine is massively important to me, and especially with what we're doing. And I tell all the boys that we had quite an experience yesterday, which was my today's video. And I said to, you know, the lads yesterday who spoke, they spoke so well, and I never pressure them to talk about mental health. I always like the Meet the 84 videos are more about getting the lads out there, having a little banter on camera, and then, you know, reeling it in. That's it. But actually, all three of them come out and spoke about their own mental health and how much having this club means to them to be able to go and do something, because that's what we're planning to do something, you know, and they said how much it means to them. So that is really made me realise that everyone's bought into it, rather than me at the front going, right, this is what we're doing. Because that's pretty much what I did. I went, lads, by the way, we're going to play some football, but this is what we're doing. And it felt a bit about me, when actually they all bought into it. And it really humbled me a lot, like a lot last night. And today's video was about that. It was about, you know, I'm so thankful for the cause being invested into by the team. So I know now that, you know, they all believe in what we're doing, rather than just coming out to lace up their boots. Yeah,
that's brilliant, mate. It's brilliant. As we started right at the start, and one of the guys said about when you cross the line and all that, you know, you're all in it together. And what you guys are trying to do and trying to achieve is commendable, you know, and I hope you can take it as far as you possibly can.
Thank you, mate. And we've definitely, I've been speaking to someone, a booking lady at Charlton at the Valley, and she's going to save us a date for May when the dates come out in January. We're going to run both of the teams, so we're going to just get as many people as we can. That's what we're going to call like a guest game. So we're going to split our team up, get as many guests as we can, and we're going to try and have a big game of football at the Valley. So hopefully that one, mate, you can come and get involved as well. That'd be lovely to. You never know, you might score an header again. 12 minute will be marking you up. No,
Yeah,
thank you so much, mate, for coming on and talking to everyone, and everyone who's listened tonight and who will listen to this video in the future. You know, go and follow Sam. I follow him. I watch him every day. You know, and you know, really inspirational for me and someone that I, you know, look up to. So jump on his accounts. He's on Facebook as well. Jump on his accounts and follow what he does, because, you know, you'll only feel better for it, like I do. So, yeah, thank you very much, Sam. Thanks for your time, buddy. Been lovely speaking to you. And yeah, I'll catch up with you soon, yeah?
Top man, Webby. Take care, mate.
Thank you, mate. See you later. Cheers, Sam.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for watching. Bit of a nightmare in the middle with the video going off, but I'm going to have to probably cut them together, hopefully, because Sam, you know, he's got some fantastic things to say, and he says all the more on his social media accounts. So go and give him a follow. And yeah, he's more inspirational on his own stuff. Obviously, he ain't got me and my best mates bantering with him. So yeah, go and give him a follow. Thank you all for watching tonight, and we'll catch up with you when we've got some more to say, because I don't know if we have now. We're done. Sam said it all for us. Thanks a lot, lads.